in the magnificent halls of the Celestial Academy on Zapiria, where crystalline walls hummed with ancient harmonics, and twin suns cast prismatic shadows through translucent floors, Marcus Chun was just a janitor, or so everyone thought. His weathered hands guided a sonic cleaner through corridors that sparkled like captured starlight. His twin 7-year-old daughters, Ka and Zara, trailing behind him like small shadows, their luminescent skin dimmed by the shame society had taught them to feel. The academy floated like a jewel against Zapiria's amber sky, its bioluminescent spires reaching toward 3 moons that danced in eternal twilight. It was a place where the children of galactic royalty learned the arts of diplomacy and conquest, their crystalline voices echoing through chambers carved from living meteor stone. But in these gleaming corridors of privilege, Marcus and his daughters were objects of contempt and ridicule, foreigners in a world that valued genetic purity above all else. The twins bore their Zephyrian heritage in the auras, soft blue glow beneath their translucent skin, in the delicate gill slits that fluttered along their necks, and in the antenna-like appendages that should have vibrated with the Academy's harmonic frequencies. But these sensory organs remained still, damaged in the accident that had claimed their mother 3 years earlier, an accident that had left Marcus alone to raise children in a world that saw them as defective. "Look at the little freaks," Axiom Velter would sneer whenever they passed, his metallic voice carrying the authority of inherited wealth. Son of the Andorian Trade Consortium, Axiom's bio-enhanced frame gleamed with modifications worth more than Marcus would earn in 10 lifetimes. His entourage of young aristocrats clustered around him like planets orbiting a cruel star, their expensive bio-enhancements gleaming under the Academy's perpetual light. "They can't even hear you." Princess Syra of the Crimson Nebula would laugh, her forearms gesturing dismissively. Deaf little mistakes that shouldn't exist. At these moments, Marcus would kneel between his daughters, his weathered hands moving in sign language, his fingers spelling comfort in a language the aristocrats would never bother to understand. And though the twins couldn't hear the cruel words, they felt the malice radiating from the crowd like heat from a dying star. Zara's luminescence would flicker with distress, while Ka stepped protectively in front of her sister, her small face set with premature determination. But there was something more to Marcus Chun than met the eye. In his eyes burned not resignation, but a quiet strength that pulsed with the same rhythm as the Academy's ancient heart. His movements, though humble, carried a precision that spoke of training far beyond that of maintenance staff. And sometimes, when he thought no one was watching, his gaze would drift to the stars visible, through the Academy's crystal dome with a longing that hinted at journeys long past. The confrontation that would change everything began on a day when the HFY Academy's harmonic frequencies seemed particularly unstable. Axiom and his followers blocked Marcus's path in a main corridor, casting a shadow that seemed to swallow light itself. Around them, other students gathered like scavengers sensing blood, their personal recording devices activated to capture what they assumed would be another humiliation of the Academy's most despised family. "Tell me." "Janitor," Axiom taunted, each word calculated to cause maximum psychological damage. "How does it feel to know your children will never hear the harmonic principles? They'll never understand the fundamental frequencies that bind our civilization together. They're broken, useless, evolutionary dead ends, consuming resources that could nurture the genetically worthy." Marcus stood slowly, his movement deliberate and calm. For a moment, something shifted in the atmosphere, a subtle change that made the more sensitive species in the crowd pause, their various sensory organs detecting a disturbance in the Academy's usually predictable harmonics. "They understand more than you think," he said quietly, his voice carrying clearly despite its softness. "They see what others miss. They feel vibrations your enhanced senses overlook." Axiom laughed, a sound like grinding metal. "Prove it. Let them solve a simple harmonic navigation puzzle. When they fail, you pack up your pathetic family and leave Zaya forever." The crowd pressed closer, their excitement building as they sensed entertainment. Recording devices hummed, capturing every angle of what they believed would be a swift humiliation. No one believed the little death mutations would even try. The interface Axiom gestured toward was a masterpiece of modern technology, incorporating 17 different harmonic layers that corresponded to various stellar phenomena: gravitational wells, plasma storms, quantum fluctuations, and the complex interactions between multiple star systems. It was designed for advanced students who had spent years learning to interpret the sophisticated mathematical relationships that governed interstellar travel. This should take 30 seconds for any competent child with proper genetic heritage, Axiom announced with theatrical grandeur. Let's see how long your death mutations struggle before they collapse in bewildered failure. Ka and Zara approached the interface together, their small forms dwarfed by the complex device that towered above them like a technological monument to intellectual superiority. But as their palms touched the crystal surface, something unexpected occurred. Where their hands made contact, the harmonics shifted, not in the patterns the interface was designed to create, but in deeper, older frequencies that seemed to resonate from the Academy's core structure itself. The building's walls began to hum with a subsonic vibration that bypassed conscious hearing entirely, reaching directly into the bones and nervous systems of everyone present. Those with the most sensitive hearing began to notice that the Academy's background harmonics, the constant musical foundation that had provided the soundtrack to their privileged lives, was transforming into something unprecedented. There, just touching it randomly, someone muttered, but their voice carried less certainty than before. Zara's gill slits began to flutter, not with the Academy's artificial harmonics, but with vibrations that predated the building itself. Ka's antenna-like appendages, damaged as they were, began to twitch in response to frequencies so subtle that even the most enhanced hearing couldn't detect them. Marcus watched his daughter's work, his expression unreadable, but his hands weren't idle. They moved in sign language, so rapid and complex that it seemed almost like ritual, guiding the twins through microscopic adjustments. Dr. Yellen Voss, the Academy's oldest instructor, and one of the few who remembered Zaya before the Galactic Alliance, pushed through the crowd. Her ancient eyes, clouded with age, but sharp with knowledge, fixed on the twins with growing astonishment. "Impossible," she whispered. "They're not using the standard harmonic frequencies at all. They're tapping into something else entirely." The navigation puzzle began to solve itself, but not in any pattern the crowd recognized. Instead of the 17 harmonic layers, the interface displayed geometric forms that pulsed with a rhythm that seemed to match the Academy's foundational resonance. And then the interface began to sing with frequencies that hadn't been heard in Superior space for over 1,000 years. The ancient harmonics flowing from the interface weren't random. They were the original navigation songs of Zaya, the primal frequencies that the planet's first inhabitants had used to traverse space before the Galactic Alliance imposed its standardized systems. The crystalline walls of the Academy itself began to resonate, responding to harmonics coded into its very foundation. "Those are the old songs," Dr. Voss breathed. "The Navigator's Lament, the Star Walker's Song. They're singing the frequencies that built this world." Axioms. Confidence wavered for the first time as the interface displayed navigation routes through dimensions of space that current Superior science barely acknowledged. "How?" he demanded, his metallic voice cracking slightly. "They can't hear the standard frequencies." "This is impossible." Marcus stepped forward, his weathered face serene in the growing light emanating from the interface, his posture transforming from humble service worker to something that spoke of command authority earned through trials these privileged students couldn't imagine. "You've forgotten something fundamental about Zephyrian physiology," he said, his voice carrying a new authority that made several faculty members straighten unconsciously. The standardized harmonic systems you all depend on are evolutionary shortcuts, technological crutches that allowed rapid expansion across the galaxy, but at the cost of abilities your species once possessed naturally. He gestured toward his daughters, who continued their work with movements that seemed choreographed by forces beyond conscious control. The first Zephyrians navigated by feeling the gravitational harmonics of space itself. They read the vibrations of reality at a level deeper than sound, deeper than any current technology can detect. Your bodies evolved to sense the quantum fluctuations that occur when massive objects bend spacetime, to feel the gravitational songs that stellar objects create as they move through the cosmic medium. The crowd had fallen completely silent now, their mockery replaced by growing unease as they realized they were witnessing something beyond their understanding. The Academy's harmonic environment was transforming around them, becoming something that felt simultaneously ancient and utterly alien to their technologically enhanced sensibilities. "The Shun twins aren't just deaf," Dr. Voss said slowly, her voice heavy with awe and growing dread at her own revelation. "Their sensory organs are attuned to pre-alliance frequencies. They're genetic throwbacks to the original Navigator bloodline." The weight of her words settled over the stunned crowd. The Navigator bloodline was legend, the first Zephyrians who had mapped the galaxy, who had possessed the ability to feel the universe's gravitational songs in their very bones. That bloodline was supposedly extinct, wiped out during the Alliance's technological integration centuries ago. Marcus placed his hands on his daughter's shoulders, and for the first time since entering the Academy, he stood at his full height. Their mother was the last known descendant of Navigator House Zephany. When she died saving other passengers from that transport crash, everyone assumed the line had ended. Axiom backed away, his bio-enhanced features pale with growing understanding. "You're lying. The Navigator houses were dissolved. Their genetic markers were supposed to be extinct." "Supposed to be," Marcus agreed. "But genetics don't follow political decrees. Ka and Zara carry their mother's Navigator genes, expressed through what you call damage to their sensory organs. What you see as disability is actually their inheritance, the ability to feel space-time itself. The transformation in the Academy's corridors was immediate and absolute. Students who had laughed at the deaf freaks now found themselves in the presence of galactic nobility, not the purchased titles and bio-enhanced privileges they were accustomed to, but bloodline royalty that predated their civilization's existence. "If they're true navigators," Princess Syra whispered, unconsciously taking steps backward, "then they outrank all of us." Dr. Voss spoke the final revelation with trembling reverence. "Zara Shun Zephany, Ka Chun Zephany. The galaxy has forgotten, but I remember the old records. These children carry the name that once guided every ship among the stars." But Marcus had one more revelation to share. From his maintenance kit, he withdrew a device that looked like a standard sonic cleaner, but hummed with frequencies that made the Academy's walls sing in response. "Did you think I was just a janitor?" The device wasn't a cleaning tool at all. It was a portable harmonic tuner designed to maintain the delicate balance of frequencies that kept the Academy's bioluminescent structure stable. "I've been monitoring the Academy's structural harmonics for 3 years," he continued, "recording frequency deterioration, mapping harmonic failures, preventing catastrophic resonance collapses that would have killed thousands. The administration hired me as a janitor, but they've been unknowingly employing a former Alliance navigator to keep their precious Academy from singing itself apart." Dr. Voss nodded slowly, pieces of a larger puzzle finally clicking into place. The harmonic stabilization improvements over the past 3 years, the reduced structural maintenance costs, the mysterious resolution of resonance problems that had plagued us for decades. That was you. Ka and Zara stepped forward, their small hands moving in sign language that Marcus translated for the stunned crowd. "They want you to know something. They've been watching all of you, learning your harmonic signatures, understanding how your bioenhancements affect the Academy's frequency balance. They know which of your modifications are causing microscopic structural damage and which ones are actually helping stabilize the building. The twins began to sign again, their movements precise and deliberate. Marcus smiled for the first time in the presence of the crowd. They're offering to teach anyone who wants to learn the old navigation techniques. They say the galaxy has forgotten how to listen to itself. With quiet dignity, Marcus began to pack his equipment. But instead of the hasty retreat the crowd had expected, he moved with the ceremonial precision of someone completing a ritual. He left the harmonic tuner active on the interface, its frequencies creating a permanent record of the ancient songs his daughters had awakened. "The next time you laugh at someone you think is broken," he said, meeting Axiom's eyes directly, "remember that evolution doesn't always move forward. Sometimes it circles back to recover what was lost." As they walked away, the twins' bioluminescence painted patterns of light on the corridor walls, not random decoration, but harmonic notation that would take scholars decades to fully decode. In the days that followed, news of the Navigator twins spread throughout Zifran space like harmonics through crystal. The Academy's carefully maintained social hierarchy crumbled as students and faculty alike grappled with the realization that their most despised outcasts were in fact the inheritors of their civilization's greatest legacy. Dr. Voss submitted her resignation from the Academy and requested permission to establish the first Navigator Heritage Research Institute dedicated to preserving and studying the ancient techniques that Ka and Zara had demonstrated. Her request was approved within hours by a Zephyrian council, suddenly desperate to reconnect with their lost traditions. Marcus Chun received offers from every major navigation guild in the galaxy, each one begging him to share his knowledge and train a new generation in the old ways. The Alliance itself, recognizing the strategic implications of rediscovered Navigator bloodlines, extended formal recognition and protection to the Chun Zephany family. Axiom, stripped of his social standing and facing investigation for harassment of protected Navigator descendants, disappeared from Zephyrian space entirely. His family's trading consortium, desperate to distance itself from the scandal, established a scholarship fund for children with sensory differences, hoping to atone for their heirs' actions. But the most profound change came from an unexpected source. Princess Syra of the Crimson Nebula, whose forearm physiology had always made her an outsider among more humanoid nobility, approached the Chun family with a revelation. Her enhanced hearing, she confessed, had been picking up frequencies similar to what the twins could sense. She wanted to learn if her abnormal sensory capabilities might be signs of her own forgotten Navigator heritage. Within a year, the Academy that had once been a bastion of genetic elitism had transformed into the galaxy's premier center for Navigator studies. Students who had previously hidden their sensory differences now sought testing to see if they carried dormant Navigator traits. The twins, no longer outcasts, but revered teachers, worked alongside their father to develop new training methods that combined ancient techniques with modern understanding. The Navigator Memorial Wing was constructed in honor of the Shin Zephani family, its walls designed to resonate with the ancient frequencies that had built their civilization. There, Marcus established a school that welcomed students of all genetic backgrounds, teaching them that diversity of perception was not just to be tolerated, but celebrated as the key to unlocking the universe's deepest mysteries. And when the twin daughters of Marcus Chun stood before the Galactic Assembly on their 18th birthday, their hands moving in the sign language that had become the official communication method for Navigator studies, their words carried the weight of prophecy. The universe has been singing to us all along. We just forgot how to listen. In a society that had equated technological enhancement with progress, the Shin Zephany family had revealed a profound truth. Sometimes what appears as limitation is actually specialization, and what seems like disability may be an evolutionary advantage waiting to be rediscovered. Their story became legend, told in navigation schools across the galaxy. A reminder that in judging others as broken, we may be blind to the extraordinary gifts they possess. And somewhere in the vastness of space, it is said that Marcus Chun still navigates by the ancient songs. His daughters grown into powerful navigators in their own right, their luminescence painting star maps across the void as they guide ships along pathways that no instrument can detect, reminding a technological civilization of the wisdom that lives in the spaces between standard frequencies, in the quiet places that only those who have learned to listen differently can hear.